Welcome to Friendly Math 101. Today's lesson is over. Medians, altitudes, and bisectors of a triangle. So we're first going to define what these are. I'm just going to use pictures because I think that's easiest. So a median, if I draw my triangle, the median is going to be a segment whose endpoints are a vertex, so a vertex, and the midpoint of the opposite side, which means a median splits the opposite side into two equal segments. So for a median, we will end up having two equal segments. For an altitude, let me draw my triangle. It's not a very good triangle. Okay, so an altitude is the perpendicular segment from a vertex, so if I use this vertex, to the opposite side. So I'm going to draw a line that is perpendicular to this side here, so it's just going to come down like this. It's actually not going to touch the side, but if you extended the opposite side out, that would be the altitude. So makes 90-degree angle. That is what an altitude does, creates a 90-degree angle. Then for a perpendicular bisector, if I draw a triangle, this is going to be a line that is perpendicular to a side. So if I choose this side, it's going to be both perpendicular, so it's going to form a 90-degree angle, as well as split into two equal segments. So it actually is combining median and altitude. So this one, perpendicular means 90 degrees, so it makes 90-degree angle. And bisector means split in two. So we also have two equal segments. Notice this one doesn't have to start at a vertex. It was just drawn straight down. Then we have an angle bisector. So if I were to draw a triangle, an angle bisector is a ray that divides an angle into two equal parts. So if I use this vertex and I'm going to split it into two equal parts with a ray. So we're going to have these two angles are going to be equal. So an angle bisector, remember bisector means to split in two, means we're going to have two equal angles. So keep those in mind as we move on to the example problems. Okay, for our first example problem, it says AM is a median. Median means we split into two equal segments. So these are both going to be equal. Find Y. Well, we're given that BM is 7y minus 4, MC is y plus 8. They're equal, so we set them equal, and we solve for y. Easy enough. So I'm going to move all the y's to one side by subtracting this one over here. So I get 6y minus 4 equals 8. These will zero out. Add 4 to both sides. So here we have 6y equals 8 plus 4 is 12. Divide both sides by 6. Those will 1 out. We get y equals 2. Moving on to our next example. This one says CD is an angle bisector. Remember, bisector means split into two. Since it's an angle bisector, we split the angle into two equal parts. So the median split into 2 equal segments. This one is going to split into 2 equal angles. So CD splits this angle into 2, which means these two are congruent. Since those are congruent, it says if the measure of angle ACB equals 102. So ACB is this whole thing right here. That's 102 degrees. We know this section is 4x plus 3. This section is equal, so it's also 4x plus 3. All of that summed together is 102. So we're just going to add 4x plus 3. So that gives me this part here. Another 4x plus 3 will give me the other side. Together they make up 102. So this is how we'll solve for x. So we will combine like terms. We get 8x plus 6 equals 102. Subtract 6 from both sides. These 6's will zero out, so we get 8x is equal to 96. Divide both sides by 8, and we get x equals 12. Okay, moving on to our last example. This last example says BD is an altitude. So let's try to remember what altitude means. An altitude is a line that extends from the vertex to the opposite side. So vertex to the opposite side, forming a 90-degree angle. So that tells me here is a 90-degree angle. Now that I know that, I also know this side is 90 degrees as well. It wants me to find the measure of angle ABD. ABD is here. And DBC. So I want to find those two missing pieces. Well, I have two separate triangles here. I know 2 of the 3 sides, so I'm just going to add them up, set them equal to 180. I'm going to call this x and this y. Okay, so let's first find the measure of angle ABD, which is my x. So I have 21 degrees, that's angle A, plus 90, which is this angle here, plus x equals 180. Combine like terms. 90 plus 21 is 111. Subtract 111 from both sides to get x. And x is equal to 69. Okay, so that would actually be the measure of angle ABD is equal to 69 degrees. Now let's find my y, which is angle DBC. We're going to do it the same way. So now we are looking at this triangle. We have 90 degrees, we have 59 degrees, and we have our unknown y. We're going to combine like terms here. 90 plus 59 is 149. Subtract 149 from both sides, so that would get me 31. So this is going to be 31 degrees. Thank you for watching, and for more math tutorials, please subscribe to our channel, Friendly Math 101.